Hello and welcome back, YouTubers. I'm Protomario. Today's review is going to be on 007 Legends for the Xbox 360 PS3. I have to warn you first that the footage you're watching is from Honest Tom 23, due to the simple fact that my footage was lost. Sadness, but gladness, because Honest Tom 23 reviewed this also. So if you want to see a second opinion, head over to his channel. Now, more on the subject. 007 Legends. What is it? It sounds promising. A 007 game where you go back and play through different movies that don't have a video game franchise attached to them. Good idea. Really great. Kind of like Sonic Generations, but with a twist. The missions that you'll play through are Die Another Day, Goldfinger, Moonraker, and a couple others, as well as a mix of Skyfall missions. So, if you're a fan of Max Zorin, or The Man with the Golden Gun, or several other 007 films that have been released, like GoldenEye and The World Is Not Enough, those movies won't be in here, as well as Casino Royale, since it's a newer movie. But, hey, oh well. So basically the premise is 007 gets shot and he goes into flashback mode where he starts off at one of the more basic movies, Goldfinger. Being 007, you'll play through these sections and every single movie is the same. Let me break this up into several parts here. First, the good parts. Okay, this game really tried to be unique. It tried to break up the tedious FPS action into several parts, making it a fun game to where it's not just a generic shooter again. It implements several gadgets that are able to be used from your cell phone, and it implements stealth sections into the game, making it more than just an FPS, which generally speaking, most 007 games do exactly that. GoldenEye did it. You didn't want to alert the guards and set off the alarms, and you always had to withdraw data. So, more or less, it accomplishes the job. Also, there's two sections where there's a third-person driving mode, but unfortunately some of those were altered for whatever reason. Instead of driving a tanker, you're driving a Jeep. Whatever? I'm not sure. So those are the plus sides of this game. The controls work, the camera works, and for the most part, if you've ever played Call of Duty, you'll know what this feels like. Now onto the bad part of the review. If it seems like I'm rushing through this review, it's because I literally have very little to say about it. It feels like a carbon copy of Call of Duty, but not Call of Duty 4 or Modern Warfare 2 or World at War or Black Ops. No, it feels like a carbon copy of Call of Duty Classic. It feels clunky, stiff, and really, really rigid. The environments get recycled excessively. The environments are not exciting. They are dull, bland, not very colorful, and the graphics do not impress. While graphics don't make a game, in a first-person shooter, there's very little else that will make the game. If the shooting mechanics aren't spot on, then the graphics will shine through. But this time, they don't. Because the shooting mechanics aren't spot on. Snapping onto an enemy like in Call of Duty doesn't work. The stealth sections, where you're supposed to be breaking up the monotonous first-person murdering action, doesn't work. When you get through the stealth sections and you're going into a new area that's flooded with enemy troops, you have to kill every enemy troop to progress in the game. Some objectives are not even told to you at all. You really have to figure this out on your own. And if you happen to not have internet, to which I'm not sure how you're watching this review if you don't, but if you don't have internet, then you're not going to be able to consult YouTube and find out what to do. The game kind of leaves it up to the player, which kudos to them, thinking the player can figure it out. But there's a lot of times where I just don't understand. For example, one of the earlier missions where you're on skis and you're attacking a helicopter, I couldn't get past that part without consulting YouTube. I'm not sure if I was doing something wrong, but I just couldn't do it for several times. And to be sent back, way back, to a checkpoint and have to face an extremely long loading time several times, it easily becomes the most frustrating part of the game. On top of that, the stealth sections really suck. Beyond, this is not Metal Gear Solid at all. It's simple stealth physics. I mean, a snake just knocks on a wall, a guard notices, comes your way, you go hide, he turns around, and you whack him in the back of the head. Stealth. Very simple to master. But in this one, you have to use your crazy gadgets to set off or alter your area around you, ensuring that the enemy guards will split up, because there's always going to be two, and, investigate. But they don't split up. They never split up. To be fair, this game works. You put it in your Xbox, it's not like it's unfinished, but it really feels like it is. It feels like the game's 90% done, and if they had added that 10%, it would have been 10 times better. A bit more bug testing, a bit more glitch testing. It would have turned out great. Think about it. Facing off with the James Bond villains. Oh, but that opens up another can of worms. When you actually get through the tedious first-person shooter, / racing, / moving about, / stealth action scenes, you will be engaged with the main villains of the game, which you will be encountered into a fist fight. Okay, so, yeah. God. There are some times where you're not even going to be facing off with a main villain. It's just some thug that you're having a fist fight with. The first one, very notably, that you'll start getting a grip on, is going to be Oddjob. And understandably, when James Bond used to face off with these villains in the end of the game, or movie, he would fist fight them. It was rarely, ever where he just shot the villain. He always fist fought with them. To the end. Look at Alec Trevelyan, Oddjob, Jaws. Okay, but there's this clunky part where you have to go up and hit the control stick in a certain direction to hit the guy and then knock him out. It's really weird and feels like kind of a dumb version of Fight Night. But saying that's being very generous, because Fight Night's awesome. Now, having said so much bad stuff about this game, you gotta be thinking, Proto, is there anything redeemable about it? Well, yes, there is. If you can get this game for free, if you can rent it off GameFly, you can live through several of the movies with James Bond. Plus, you can download some of the episodes of Skyfall, the movie, but not many, and the episodes kind of suck. After you beat the game, there are also sections, kind of like Spec Ops, where you're under a time section in the campaign mode, and you're forced to beat a mission part within a certain amount of time. Also, not very fun. But, in the end, if James Bond is your thing, and you're an avid fan, this game might be right up your alley. I would say it definitely has a limited appeal. It's not a very good game at all. The characters are stiff, rigid, and they definitely don't feel like their James Bond counterpart. But the memorable scenes are implemented in the game. Though some of them do have liberties taken with them, most of them remain untouched. And I do have to say the voice acting is top-notch. But through it all, I can't wholeheartedly recommend this game to everyone. Only the die-hard James Bond fans. And I'm talking about die-hard. Look, I've got every DVD on my shelf, and I'm going to tell you right now, I don't even appreciate it. So if you're not as hardcore as me, plus some, you probably won't enjoy this game that much either. Overall, I give this game a D-. It is above failure, but not by much. The clunky stealth sections, the clunky first-person shooting, the clunky first-person skiing, and the clunky third-person driving modes. Stick to what you're good at. Don't venture out into the unknown if you're not going to finish it. This game could have been great if it had been tested extensively and the bugs were worked out of it. I'm Protomario and I'm signing out. And if you appreciated this review, please remember to like it. And if you want a different take and an opinion on this game, go ahead and head over to Honest Tom 23's channel, to which the gameplay you're watching comes from. Thanks, Tom. You're the greatest Brit I ever known. And I'm Protomario, and I'm signing out. And remember, YouTubers, if you didn't hear it from me, it's not an unbiased review. Thanks for watching, and happy gaming.